You were always early, I was always careful. I thought there would be more time. Yeah, you asked how my day had been, like you actually wanted the answer. You remember little things, the name of my favorite place, how I never finished my coffee, the songs I skip every single time. I noticed all of it, I just wasn't good at showing you. You probably thought I never looked back. Truth is, I watched every step, I kept every feeling behind another locked door. You kept knocking until one day you didn't. I was opening the window while you were walking away. I finally found the words after the conversation that already ended. You thought the silence meant no, I wish you knew. It was only fear, taking too long to leave. Yeah, your messages became shorter, then they became further apart. I told myself you were just busy. I almost called, I almost asked you to stay. I almost became the person you have been waiting for. Almost can be a lonely word. If we met today, I'd answer faster. I'd tell you that you kinda scare me, because I've never been loved so gently before. You never asked me to be different, you only waited longer than anyone else ever had. I was opening the window while you were closing the door. You weren't leaving to hurt me, you were leaving because waiting hurts too. I don't blame you, some hearts bloom early. Mine chose the last day of spring. I hope someone opens the door. I hope someone opens the door. I hope the first time you knock, you never filled the silence just because it was there. You let the quiet breathe until I found my own words. You'd ask about my day like the smallest details matter. The traffic, the weather, what I have for lunch. Looking back, I think you were never asking about those things. You were asking about me. I just didn't know how to answer yet. You were patient, I was careful. Neither of us was trying to be difficult. We were simply caring different histories. You stay gently, you never push, you never pulled. You only stood close enough for me to believe it was safe to take one step. I was taking it, you just couldn't see how slowly it happened. See how slowly it happened. Yeah, yeah. When your messages became shorter, I noticed when your replies took longer. I noticed that too. I kept telling myself there would be another weekend, another conversation, another chance to say what had been growing inside me. I was wrong, some chances don't disappear all at once. They grow quieter until one day you realize you're listening to your own voice again. I've stopped wondering how things could have been different. That question has nowhere left to go. Instead, I think about the person I was before you, the one who believed kindness always came with conditions. You proved otherwise, you expected nothing, and somehow that changed everything. You stay gently long enough to leave your way of seeing people behind. Now I notice when someone hesitates, I wait a little longer. I ask one more question, I listen without trying to fix anything. If kindness can be learned, then you were the best teacher I'll probably ever have. We never reached the season I once imagined for us, but every season after you has carried a little more warmth. You arrived like the kind of summer that never tries to be remembered. You left easily, you listen carefully, you make quiet places feel a little brighter. I stay careful, not because of you, because I spent so long learning how to keep people a step away. You never asked me to change, yeah, you only stay long enough for me to notice. I wanted to, by the from my words words became softer. Your footsteps were already getting lighter. I think about that summer more gently now. Not as something I lost, as something that found me at the right time. Even if I wasn't ready yet. You didn't stay, but you left the door unlocked. But you left the door unlocked. I still remember the way you'd ask, did you make it home, like the answer really mattered. I wanted to tell you that nobody had cared so natural before. Instead I smiled, changed the subject and hoped you'd understand the things I couldn't say. You waited longer than most people would. Sometimes I wonder what another week might have looked like. Not because I wanna go back, because I finally know what I would've done differently. I'd answer sooner, I'd answer sooner, I'd stay a little longer, I'd stop pretending I wasn't already letting you in. You were a beautiful summer, not one that lasted forever. Just long enough to teach me that kindness doesn't always ask for anything back. The next time someone reaches for my hand, I don't think they'll have to wait as long. You'll never know, but you made the next season a little easier to welcome. Some people stay, some people change the way you open the door. You did both, even if only for one summer. A paper airplane landed in the grass and no one picked it up. A sparrow stayed on the fence a little longer than it needed to. The clouds kept changing shape for no one at all, and I watched them anyway. A bicycle bell echoed down an empty street, and someone's wind chime answered from a nearby porch. Nothing important happened, it still felt like time well spent. The world keeps asking, what did you get done today? I think I've started asking a different question. What if the best part of the day didn't need a reason? A leaf floating down a river, the last light resting on a rooftop, a dog asleep in the afternoon sun. None of them are trying to become anything else. Maybe that's why they feel so honest. Yeah, I found an old marble in my coat pocket and couldn't remember where it came from. I wrote it across my palm for a while, then slipped it back into my pocket. Two children covered the sidewalk with colored chalk, knowing the rain would wash it away by morning. They didn't seem bothered, neither was I used to believe every day needed a story worth telling. Now I'm happy if it gives me something worth noticing. A window filled with plants, laundry moving with the wind, the quiet sound of pages turning in a library. The world has always been offering these things. I was simply walking too fast to see them. What if the best part of the day didn't need a reason? A kite caught in a tree, a feather resting on the pavement, the smell of rain before the first drop falls. None of those things will change the world, they only change this afternoon. Sometimes that's more than enough for me. I walked home with nothing in my hands, yet somehow the day had already given me everything I wanted to carry. You never try to pull me closer, you simply stay close enough for me to wonder what it might feel like. You ask simple questions, what made you smile today? Did you get home alright? Nothing about them sounded rehearsed. You make kindness feel as natural as breathing. I answered carefully, one sentence at a time. You probably thought that was all I had to give. You never saw the conversations I kept having after you went home. The ones where I finally said everything I couldn't say out loud. You left the door open even after you stopped knocking. Now every time someone is gentle distance growing between us. You smiled the same way you always did. I smiled back, looking at it now. We were both trying to make leaving feel easier. If life is kind, someone will meet the version of me. You almost gotta know the one who answers honestly, the one who reaches back, the one who doesn't hide behind "I'm okay." I wish it could have been you, but I understand why it wasn't. You left the door open, I walked through it after you were already gone. The timing hurt, the lesson didn't. You showed me that being cared for never had to feel frightening. The next person who waits outside my heart won't have to wait so long. That's the gift you never knew you gave me. We didn't get another season, but because of yours, I think I'll recognize the next spring when it arrives. You came into my life without trying to change it. You simply sat beside me long enough for the silence to stop feeling so familiar. You noticed things I never thought anyone would. The way I hesitate before answering, the way I laughed and immediately look away. You never rushed me, you just stay where you were. Back then, I thought there would always be another tomorrow. I didn't know that waiting has a season too. Yours ended just as mine began. You were the summer I needed, not the one I kept, not the one I planned, just the one that found me before I knew I was ready. You left before my heart learned how to speak, still it remembers your name. Every time kindness finds it again. For a while I replay every conversation, looking for the sentence that might have changed everything. I don't do that anymore. Now I remember the way you made people feel seen, the way you listen with that feel in every silence, the way goodbye sounded softer when you were the one saying it. You never knew it, but I was already changing. If someone asked me what love looked like, I won't talk about forever, I'll talk about patience, about someone who knocked gently even when the door stayed closed, about the person who walked away with kindness instead of resentment. Not everyone leaves to hurt you, some people leave to protect what was good. You were the summer I needed, we were meant to become a lifetime. You were the page that taught me how to begin the next chapter. The next time someone reaches for my hand, I won't spend so long wondering if I deserve it. I'll hold on while they're still here because of you. The next season won't have to wait outside. I don't wish for another chance, I only hope the person I become would have met you with an open heart. You never asked me to become someone else, you only waited for the version of me I hadn't met yet. You always walked on the outside of the sidewalk, you always noticed when I got quiet. You slow your steps without saying anything, as if silence deserved company too. I wasn't cold, I was translating years into sentences that had never been spoken out loud. You couldn't hear that, how could you? I barely could. You thought nothing was changing, I wish you'd seen how hard my heart was trying to catch up. If you had stayed one more week, you would have seen it. The walls were already lower, the answers were getting longer. I had started reaching for my phone before you texted first. You never asked for proof, but I was finally becoming one. If you had stayed one more week, you would have met the version of me you believed was there all along. Ay, the cafe still knows your order. I know because I accidentally asked for it. The girl behind the counter smiled and almost said your name. Then she stopped. That silence lasted longer than the conversation. I could catch myself saving little stories, the kind I usually tell you. The dog wearing tiny rain boots, a street musician playing the wrong chords like they belong together. A sunset that made the whole river look like it had caught fire. My first thought is still, I should send this. Then I remember, people say timing is everything. I don't believe that anymore. Timing isn't a clock, it's two hearts learning the same language before one of them gets too tired to keep translating. If you had stayed one more week, you would have heard me say your name without hesitation. You would have noticed I wasn't checking the distance anymore. I had already made room for you. You just couldn't see it from where you were standing. I don't blame you, waiting is heavy, even when love is light. I hope someone meets you on a day when their heart already knows how to open. You spoke first, I answered just enough. You smiled anyway. Yeah. You remember things I never thought to mention twice. The way I always ordered the same drink, the song I turn up at every red light. You asked if I eaten, you asked if I got home safe. You found reasons to make an ordinary Tuesday feel a little softer. I wanted to tell you that nobody had ever been that gentle with me. Instead I said I'm fine. You never rushed me, you just stood there holding the door, hoping I walk through. You were never too much, you just arrived before I knew how to let someone stay. Every kind word felt heavier than I knew what to do with. You thought I was pulling away, I was only learning how to reach back. Yeah. Your good morning text turned into every other day. Then once a week to nothing. I read our old conversations like they belong to two people who almost got the timing right. Yeah. I kept thinking tomorrow I'll answer the way I wanted to today. Tomorrow came, so did your silence. If I'm honest, I was scared of needing someone, scared that if I open one door I'd have to open all of them. You never asked me to, you only waited until waiting started hurting more than leaving. You were never too much, your kindness was never the problem. It was the distance I'd spent years building without realizing how difficult it was to cross you. You left quietly because you stopped caring, because caring shouldn't feel lonely. Yeah. If I ever see you again, I hope the smile comes first. I hope the words do too. Some people leave because love disappears. You left because mine arrived too late. You never asked for much, just a little honesty, a little closer each time. You learn the names of the people I talked about. You remember the stories I've forgotten I told. You laughed before I finished the punchline. You always made space beside you, like you believed I'd sit there eventually. I did, just slower than either of us expected. You'd ask, how was your day? I'd answer, it was fine, you deserve more than that. I just didn't know how to give it yet. You saw a locked door, I saw a house I'd spent years trying to protect. We were looking at the same thing, just differently. I thought you knew, I thought you could see that every small step was still a step. Every message I answered a little faster, every goodbye that lasted a little longer, every smile The last time we met, you smiled the same way you always had, only quieter. I noticed I almost asked if everything was alright. Instead we talked about work, the weather, what we'd eat for dinner. The important things stayed exactly where they were between us. You walked away like someone trying not to make a difficult moment any harder. I watched until you disappeared, you never looked back. I've replayed that evening more times than I'd ever admit. Not to change your mind, just to hear my own voice say the things it was carrying. Stay, I'm trying, don't mistake my silence for the absence of feeling. It was only the language I knew best. I thought you knew that I was finally leaving the past behind, that your kindness had already reached places nobody else ever had. You weren't asking for perfection, only a sign that you weren't waiting alone. I wish I'd given you one, because love didn't end, time did. If our paths ever cross again, I won't start with I'm sorry, I'll start with you were right to knock, I was just too late to answer. The hardware store closed at 6. The sun went dark before the sky did. A father balanced 2 pizzas with one hand while unlocking his car. A teenager practiced skateboard tricks beside the empty fountain. The wheels kept slipping, he kept trying. A woman folded a picnic blanket before the wind could carry it away. Someone across the street tuned an old guitar on the front steps, and notes drifted through the block, never asking anyone to listen. I slowed down without noticing. The evening had its own pace, no one announced it. Still the whole neighborhood felt like it had finally exhaled. Leave a little daylight, leave one more conversation. Leave the radio playing while dinner stays on the stove. Leave the map folded, leave the watch alone. Some nights are already full before we add anything else. The baseball field lights came on one by one. Practice had already ended, but 2 kids stayed behind, taking turns throwing the last ball. An older man swept the sidewalk outside his barbershop. He stopped every few minutes just to watch people pass. A woman carried a birthday cake like it was the most important thing in town. For a few blocks, everyone seemed to be on their way to someone. The best evenings never compete for attention, they simply stay with you. Still tickets I'll buy, still coastlines I'll stand beside, still songs waiting somewhere between silence and the first chord. I'm excited for every one of them, but I hope I never become too busy to notice the neighborhood settling in tonight. The lights over the baseball field, the smell of charcoal drifting from a backyard, the sound of someone calling, see you next week. Those things deserve a place in the story too. Leave a little daylight, leave one more conversation. Leave the dishes for tomorrow, leave the chairs where they are. The stars aren't in a hurry, neither is this evening. Oh, remember the voices, the slow streaks, the game that lasted one inning longer, and the feeling that nothing needed to be different. The porch light came on as I reached the gate. I looked back once, smiled, and kept walking. The movie ended 20 minutes ago. Nobody at the cafe seemed ready to leave. A waitress counted coins into the register while singing under her breath. Someone traced circles on the side of a paper cup without noticing. The chair across from me stayed empty, but I never felt alone. Outside bicycles leaned against the same brick wall they've used for years. A couple unfolded a paper map they probably didn't need anymore. The streets looked familiar enough to stop asking for directions. I checked the time and slipped my phone back into my pocket. It could wait. Some evenings don't ask for plans, they only ask you not to rush them. Stay until the lights come on. Stay until until the conversations slow down. Stay until the coffee's gone cold. Stay until the chairs are upside down. Stay until somebody sends it, so see you next time. Some nights become memories without making any noise. Stay until the lights come on. Yeah. The record store owner carried a speaker onto the sidewalk. An old song floated through the block. Nobody stopped walking, but nobody hurried either. A little girl held both hands over her ears when a motorcycle passed. Two friends argue about a movie ending like they never agree. The florist placed tomorrow's bucket's house outside before locking the door. Life was already preparing for another morning. There will always be another calendar, another flight, another reason to leave early. I'm sure I'll chase those too, but I hope I never forget how much can happen when nobody is watching the clock. A familiar song, a second slice of pizza, one more story, one more laugh, one more minute. Sometimes it's all a day needs. Stay until the lights come on. Stay until the streets empty out. Stay until the last train leaves. Stay until the city grows quiet enough to hear your own footsteps again. Leave tomorrow outside for a little while, and it has already given us more than we expected. Stay until the lights come on. Walk home after that. The owner flipped the sign to close. Nobody complained. We just stood up, put on our jackets, and stepped into the same night together. I saw a little girl waving at a passing train, even though no one inside could possibly know she was there. She smiled. Anyway, an old man stopped to straighten a flower pot that wasn't his. A breeze carried the smell of fresh oranges from a market I hadn't planned to visit. I changed my route without thinking and stayed a little longer than I needed to. Nothing on my schedule changed. The afternoon still felt completely different. The best parts of the day rarely ask for attention. They simply wait for someone willing to notice. The world keeps giving away beautiful things. A shadow dancing across a brick wall, a bird resting on a telephone wire, a child laughing before anyone tells the joke. None of it belongs to me. Still, I get to take it home. Someone had left a paperback on a park bench with a note inside that read, "For whoever needs a quiet afternoon." I smiled at the handwriting before I even opened the first page. Across the path a man taught his daughter how to whistle. She couldn't do it yet, neither of them seemed disappointed. The leaves overhead moved with the wind like they had all the time in the world. For a moment I believed I did too. I spent years believing life would begin after I reached the next goal. Now I think it begins every time I stop long enough to notice what's already here. A song escaping from an open record shop, a kite that refuses to come down. The smell of the sea carried farther than the shoreline. Beauty has never been rare, only my attention was. The world keeps giving away beautiful things. It never asks who deserves them, it never sends a bill. It simply leaves them everywhere. On sidewalks, in the trees, inside conversations across the evening sky. I hope I never become too busy to accept such generous gifts. I came home with empty pockets. The day had already filled them. The air changed before anyone mentioned it. The trees seemed to know first. The ice cream stand closed an hour earlier than last week. The owner stacked the chairs and whistled the same tune he always did. A little boy wore a sweatshirt tied around his waist and stopped to put it on before crossing the street. The evenings arrived a little sooner. The shadows stretched farther across the sidewalks. Nobody announced the season was leaving. It simply carried fewer reasons to stay. I watched the paper cup roll across the parking lot until the wind decided it had gone far enough. You don't notice the change while you're standing inside it. One day the air just feels different. Summer packed its bags, didn't slam the door, didn't wave goodbye. It left a warm jacket on the chair, a longer walk after dinner, and one last sunset that stayed a little later than expected. Summer packed its bags, I smiled and kept walking. Baseball field stood quiet after sunset. Only the lights remained shining over empty benches. The fruit stand traded peaches for apples. Someone rolled the windows up at a stoplight. A dog chased a leaf instead of a butterfly. The town looked almost the same, only the colors had learned a different language. There will be another July, another afternoon that lasts forever, another reason to stay outside until the streetlights come on. I'm looking forward to every one of them, but I won't ask this season to wait any longer. It already gave me more than it promised. Now it's someone else's turn to arrive. Summer packed its bags, summer packed its bags, summer packed its bags. The evenings grew quieter, the mornings carried cooler air. The porch swings moved a little slower, nothing needed a farewell. The season simply trusted that I remember. Summer packed its bags. I folded the last short sleeve shirt, opened the closet and made room for whatever comes next. The first cool breeze found me before I reached home. I zipped up my jacket, looked at the fading sky, and kept the same easy pace.